large part because of the advocacy from young people and the tireless work of people and groups like Catherine McParland, Lorraine and Susan and Cami and the Youth Advisory Council, as well as the support of ministry staff and young people who have had experience in care. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to say a big thank you to everybody who has been working so hard on this. Falling off a cliff, a superhighway to homelessness, a frightening precipice. These are just some of the ways the transition from government care has been described. And there's a reason it's been seen this way. We know that without supports, youth leaving care too often struggle to make a strong transition to adulthood. In fact, youth leaving care are many times more likely to become homeless, 17 times more likely to be hospitalised for a mental health crisis, and 5 times more likely to die before the age of 25 compared to other young people. Most parents don't abandon their children at age 19. They do everything they can to help their children make a strong transition to independence. They help their kids with tuition, with rent, with health and dental benefits. It's in our power to change the future and give these young people a chance to thrive. And that is what we're doing with new supports introduced in Budget 2022. Instead of programmes that are restrictive and hard to access, we're offering wraparound supports that will help young people make a strong transition to independence. Over the next 3 years, the improved system will help more young people in more ways. My ministry's current mandate only allows us to support youth up to the age of 19, with limited post-19 supports through the Agreements with Young Adults programme. Many young people in BC get family support after they turn 19, and children and youth in government care need to know we're going to be there for them too. The new supports we're introducing will be available to youth and young adults up to the age of 27. Every young person leaving our care will be able to receive 1 year of unconditional income supplement of $1,250 a month. After that, they'll be able to access continued monthly funding up to age 27 when they participate in education and mental health programmes. And because we want to encourage young adults to be independent and not system dependent, we're introducing a new no-limit earnings exemption so that young adults have a pathway to work and become independent. Our new approach to supports will help young people stay housed and out of homelessness. Youth in care will be able to stay in their home up until their 21st birthday. We've been providing this option to youth through the pandemic, and I'm happy to announce this housing option is now extended indefinitely to continue to support young adults through this challenging time. We'll also be offering a rent supplement of up to $600 a month so that when they're ready to transition, youth can secure safe and stable housing. The new system will give young adults improved health and life skills supports, making it easier for them to go to counselling, go to the dentist, connect with their culture, go to college or university, or learn the skills they need as an adult. And the new system will have earlier and more direct transition support. We're hiring up to 80 new youth transition workers to support early and ongoing transition planning. These workers will begin supporting youth in care at the age of 14 and will help young adults from care to navigate the new and existing government services. This is the first time the province has created a comprehensive cross-government approach to supporting youth in and from care. But before we go any further, it's my honour to introduce Lorena Bishop to share her thoughts on these new supports and how it will impact youth across the province. Lorena is the Executive Director of the Federation of BC Youth in Care Networks and an award-winning advocate with over a decade of experience in the youth sector. Thank you, Lorena.
Mr. Dean. I have the honor and privilege of joining today from the traditional and unceded territory of the Kikite, Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh Nations. We're excited to see the government recognize the continued support needed by youth who have transitioned from their care with a $5 million investment. This investment is an important step towards altering the trajectory of youth leaving government care, which we know can lead to homelessness. It will help to bridge the gap between youth leaving government care and many of whom their housing and other essential supports when they turn 19 and parented youth rely on from their supports past their 19th birthdays. The investment of funding into placement extensions, rent subsidies, and removing income clawbacks will help ensure that these incredible young people can have the basic security they need to work towards their goals and contribute their gifts, skills, and talents to the world. This funding is an important step towards breaking the cycle of poverty for young people from government care. Safe, stable housing is absolutely essential to for anyone to survive and to succeed. We're also excited to see the commitment to transition workers, because transitioning from government care is difficult, scary, and it's a complex process. And young people have advocated for designated staff to support their transition from care and for those to be community-based positions. Providing the necessary support for young people and their social workers through that process is an important step in ensuring that youth from government care have access to the supports and services they need to thrive as they venture into adulthood. We want to sincerely thank the young people who have advocated for better supports for their peers in care and the youth who are coming up behind them. You helped make this happen. We would also like to thank government for this commitment, and we look forward to continuing to work in partnership to ensure youth from care have the supports and resources they need to live healthy, happy lives. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Lorena, and thank you for all of your work and service. Youth transitioning from care and into adulthood need the best supports that we can offer. However, for many years, these supports weren't enough, or they were simply non-existent. And we've heard from young people and from advocates who have told us they need more help to do that successful transition to independence. And the pandemic has taught us a lot about what youth transitioning out of care need the most, from housing and rental supports to more flexible options for learning life skills and increased access to mental health and rehabilitation supports. We work quickly across government to provide emergency supports and services for youth and young adults to help support them through the COVID-19 emergency, including temporary housing measures and more flexible access to supports through the Agreements with Young Adults programme. I've heard directly from young adults and youth that these measures have made all the difference for them as they navigate the challenges of the pandemic. And speaking of strong youth voices, I'd like to pass it over to Susan Russell-Charney. As a former youth in care, Susan has long been a passionate youth advocate, active in several organisations, including her current role with the National Council of Youth in Care Advocates. Susan.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you for the invitation to join from Kikite First Nation territory today. I'm honoured to work, play, and live on this land. As the Minister described, youth have described leaving foster care as falling off a cliff. Youth have also described celebrating their 19th birthday by being handed a garbage bag and being asked to leave their placements. Because of the comprehensive investment in youth transitions, these scenarios and other adverse outcomes encountered upon leaving care have a chance of being left in the past. I'm looking forward to the changes in this investment, as it will make changes in the lives of youth leaving government care. As someone who has experienced government care myself, I lost siblings to adverse outcomes related to leaving government care because they were unsupported. When this policy is implemented, and it's a policy that reflects a sizable budget investment, we hope that youth will not have to continue unrolling sleeping bags onto the street or couch surf the waves of unstable, unsafe, and unsupportive housing upon turning 19. The announcement to make interim measures permanent, expand and reform the AYA program in the next years is urgently needed work that answers the call of dedicated and courageous youth advocates and allies across the province, including youth at the Fostering Change Campaign and at the Trust Collective Impact. This investment reflects 79% of British Columbians who called for increased transition supports over the last 10 years. It is with gratitude that myself and allies and youth recognize the leadership taken to implement the automatic wraparound support system for youth in care. We ask that in the spirit of collaboration, government continue to work with the National Council of Youth and Care Advocates, participate in consultations in the spring, and pilot an equitable standard for youth transitions evaluation model that aligns with the budget implementation. Together, we can all ensure that the cohort of care leavers in BC are supported with an equitable approach that was created through a ready-based, not age-based lens. And as advocates, the initiative that government has put forward is applauded. The cross-government approach models the parental support approach. Over 80% of British Columbians afford their own children the wraparound support approach put forward by government today for youth leaving care. And we look forward to an ongoing collaboration in this. We look forward to ensuring that the support reaches all youth and provides stability to 100% of youth who leave care. I thank you for the opportunity to speak and express my gratitude for this investment and for working towards forwarding Catherine McParland's legacy in abolishing youth homelessness from government care.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you so much for all of your work and advocacy and for being with us today. As you mentioned, the late youth advocate, Catherine McParland from Away Home Kamloops, said we need to listen to youth and put youth voices first. And that is what we're doing. We're listening to the voices of these young people, as well as the voices of Indigenous organisations and communities, youth supporting agencies, the representative for children and youth, caregivers, the Minister's Youth Advisory Council, and advocates like Lorena, Susan, and Cami. They've all told us that transition supports for young people need to be better. They need to focus on relationships and be more inclusive, and they need to be provided past the age of 19. And over the coming months, I look forward to engaging with Indigenous and youth partners as we develop the new policy and legislation to support these changes. Children and youth in care need to know they have a strong future ahead of them. They need to believe that they can make a strong transition to adulthood and live happy and healthy lives. I hope when young people from in care and from care hear about this announcement, that they also hear this. We care about you. We believe in you. We know that you have so much to offer, and we're going to help you build a strong and healthy, independent life. We're showing children and youth in care that they matter, so that youth and young adults can experience better support as soon as possible. And finally, it's my honour to hand the floor over to another incredible youth from care and a long-time member of the Youth Advisory Council. Cami Lawson has been pushing for changes like this for many years, and they have been providing valuable advice to the Ministry on how we can best support the youth in our care. Over to you, Cami.
Thank you, Minister Dean. Today, I consider an incredible day for youth in care and for those who advocate and work for change within the system. It's a rare day that we truly get to see change happen. Most of the time, many of us feel like we're up against an unmovable wall or object that we just can't seem to scale. When you ask YAC members what made them want to join, most of us have common, similar answers, all having to do with wanting to make the system better, make it not as difficult for those who follow us going through it, so they don't experience the things that we did. YAC has been moving forward on this premise since it was first pitched to Corey Hefner in 2014, to use our experience and our knowledge to help make the system better. I first got involved on a community level when I was 16 years old, and now, 9 years later, it's been a long road, but there's been some changes. 4 years ago, I stood with Minister Roy at the last AYA expansion announcement, and at the time, that was the biggest change I had seen. But today now holds that distinction. the biggest change and improvement that I've seen, and it's a day that I hope every youth and every advocate remembers on the day that you really just feel like there's no way forward, on the days that you don't think there's any way to change the system. Because today we did. This changes years and years of work and advocacy and consultations with not only YAC, but other youth, other organizations, other advocates, that they see that even though these changes may have taken years from where we started, the change is happening, and it's not always just on a small scale that we are being heard. It was figure out what to say today. When I heard what the improvements and the changes are, I was completely in shock. I think I still am today. I stared at my computer screen for hours trying to figure out how to put everything into eloquent words, trying to find a way to explain to those who haven't experienced the care system exactly what these changes mean and the deep impact that they are going to have. Because these have the potential to be monumental for those as they approach their 19th birthday, which is a birthday that most of us dread. It's a birthday that makes us hate all birthdays. Most teenagers spend a lot of time thinking about what they want to do in the future, what schools they want to go to, what they want to study, where they want to travel, and so much more. At the same age, I made no plans. I had no goals for the future. I had no idea what I was going to do. At the time, I didn't even think I'd make it to high school graduation, not when I was approaching 19 next, because how could I make plans and goals knowing that I would be cut off and lose the only consistent support that I had ever had? The system is hard, it's broken, and sometimes it causes more harm than good, no matter what the intention may be. But it was the only consistent support I had as I bounced around in and out of care, and now youth won't have to lose that at 19. Now they'll have time to figure things out, time and resources to help deal with the trauma they experience in care and aging out, because aging out of care truly is a traumatic event in itself. And by the time many of us are ready to process it and to deal with the emotions through, there are no resources for us to do so. These changes will save lives, that's guaranteed, and they will alter lives in more ways than I could ever express to you today or any day, really. I've been working for change for 9 years, and this is more than I thought I would ever see for the youth currently in care and for the future generations of youth. There's still an overwhelming amount of work to do, but today is a rare, incredible day that we get to see progress and a large step forward, because not only are these changes so incredibly important, but the future youth that will one day step up and advocate can see on this day proof that we are being heard. Our voices are not being ignored or shoved aside. They are being held with importance and will only continue to grow as more and more youth come in and become advocates and more change slowly happens. Thank you, Minister Dean.
Thank you so much, Kemi. That was really powerful. And I appreciate all the work that you've done and all of the other members of the Youth Advisory Council as well, because it is so important to listen to youth. By offering wraparound supports that don't just provide youth the bare minimum to survive, but give them the supports they need so they can excel, reach their potential. That's the system that we're building, that we're announcing today. So I just want to say thank you again to everybody who's here, added their voices and experiences to this announcement. And it's the lived experience of young people from care that is driving these changes. And so I thank everybody who has been part of that journey and who has shared their stories. And I thank everybody who has such a passion for advocating for youth in care and who sees the potential of youth in care. And I want to thank the ministry staff and social workers who have been working tirelessly on these changes to support youth transitioning into adulthood. I'm very excited to build a better system together. Thank you.
Thanks, Minister. We'll now take questions from media on the phone. A reminder to everyone who's joined us on the phone, if you'd like to ask a question, please press *1 on your phone. That's *1. We'll be calling upon the media who've entered the queue in sequence, and you'll be given a question and a follow-up. And to start with, we'll go to Cole Schisler of Black Press. Go ahead, Cole.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. My first question is, so for youth who are or who were previously in care, they aged out and they're under the age of 27. So you're between the ages of 19 and 27 now. Will those people get access to this support as well?
Yeah, we need to remember that for far too long, youth were left behind. After the age of 19, supports weren't there. And we've heard the adverse outcomes that has led to for youth and for young adults. So since 2017, we've been making improvements to the program. And of course, with the pandemic as well, we implemented emergency measures. So since 2017, we have actually been making improvements. We've been increasing the support programs that actually are available. And so as we move forward from here, there will be implementation of different aspects of the whole system that we want to deliver in a way that is in partnership with the experiences of youth and youth advocates and Indigenous communities as well. So we have some more planning to do in terms of some of the detail, but these supports are there for young people from care up to the age of 27, and they all have unique needs. And so there's a range of ways that any youth at any age up to the age of 27 can create that suite of services that best meets their needs. As one of our speakers said, it's about readiness for independence and not about a cut-off age.
Cole, do you have a follow-up?
Yeah. Is there any specific funding for youth in care who have physical or intellectual disabilities?
Well, we know that for far too long, children and youth have been left behind, whether they have neurodiversity or have been in government care. So we're actually making changes to systems in the province, for example, for children and youth with support needs, as well as for young adults who are leaving care. So we do have a program that actually does provide the kind of transition support that we're talking about today, that's transition support for young people with developmental and physical disabilities to transition into the adult systems and make sure that they're receiving services already as well. And so we're only going to be reinforcing and improving all of these systems as we make choices to make sure that we're building services, increasing services for children and youth in the province, whether they have particular support needs or are leaving government care.
Thanks very much. Next, we'll go to Mary Brooke of Island Social Trends. Go ahead, Mary.
Hi, thanks for taking my question. Mr. Dean, what was the process for developing these new programs? Did people with lived experience approach your ministry, or did this evolve from within your ministry, and was there any public engagement?
Yes, thank you. We've received a lot of feedback. This change is driven by the voices of youth from government care and advocates as well. So, we heard the ministry had been hearing for many, many years that it was just a patchwork. Young people at the age of 19, as I said earlier on, experienced it as a cliff, as a precipice. There was only one program that was potentially available for young people, and it had a lot of barriers around it as well. So not many young people accessed it. And so the ministry has been hearing for a long time from young people and from advocates that these changes needed to be made. I think Cami spoke to how long that has been going on as well. The ministry has also done a lot of consultation. So 2,500 relevant people, young people, stakeholders, service providers, advocates, caregivers have been engaged as well as part of this process. And so we made changes from 2017, 2018, we made changes to the AYA program. My colleague in Advanced Education Skills Training introduced the tuition waiver, but we continued to hear that we need to really build a system that is available to young people for them to create the suite of services that's going to help them to be successfully transitioning to whatever their pathway of independence is. And so this is the first time in British Columbia that we've worked across government to actually create this system to support young people from who are leaving government care.
Do you have a follow-up, Mary?
Yeah, just a quick one. Is there a hotline for youth emerging out of care to access this as a system, or do they still have to go through various points in the government?
Yeah, there will be information available, Mary. And what we've heard from young people that Lorena talked about as well is that they want to have dedicated people there to support them. And so we will be, young people already receive those supports from the age of 14 to help transition through independence. So that the supports are already there to help young people find the information that they're going to need. Of course, now we're going to be increasing that support to be able to help young people navigate this new system and make sure that they access all the supports that are going to be of benefit to them. Because, you know, what I hear from young people is they want to thrive, not survive. And so it's just so important to hear from them about how we need to build this system that's going to work for them. And I can't thank the young people enough who have been sharing their stories with us and, you know, as Cami said, have been on a long journey with us to actually reach this point where we're implementing this system.
Thanks very much. That's all the questions for today. Thanks everyone for joining us, and have a good afternoon.